YouTubers. We all love them, they're all perfect, and literally never do anything wrong ever. But what if they did do wrong things? Well, that sounds like the perfect setup to a meteor indie horror game. I'm totally not out of ideas. Today we are going to discuss some indie horror games that are all about particular YouTubers. Whether they are fan-made or hater-made, these games in some way pay homage to the legacy of these creators in a spooky kind of way. I think we should start off with the Logan Paul Simulator. This is an indie horror game about Logan Paul from 2018, so this is when Logan Paul was at his most controversial. The Forest situation had just happened, and his fight with KSI was still on the way. This game starts in a pretty familiar room where Logan Paul is watching TV. On the TV is the end of KSI's first ever boxing match, which was against Joe Weller. This is where KSI first called out Logan Paul for a fight. After that's done playing, it's time to make our way to the laptop to see what we have to do today. There's a few files we can look at. We can look at our lyrics, which would impress the likes of Tupac Shakur. We can look at some of our ongoing merch ideas, which definitely seem appropriate. There's also a security camera, which is used to moderate the outside and inside of the building. The game is structured around our to-do list, the first on which is to make a YouTube video. We have to edit the pieces of our latest masterpiece together. We got some plate smashing, some dog porn for the hell of it, and a reaction to KSI with our mom. Once that vlog has been edited to perfection, we can move on. We get a notification that movement has been detected by our security system. Upon checking the security camera, we see that someone is standing outside of the building. But we don't have time to worry about that, as we need to continue the tasks on our list. The next one is to buy a midget. Chatters, I don't condone this language. It's just in the game, and I have to talk about the game. There's 3 options for categories of midgets. I, being a very mature person, of course chose the retarded midget. This video is gonna get so demonetized. Naturally, as I am the one and only Logan Paul, I decided to buy his former sidekick Evan, who was free as the seller just didn't want him. Our next mission is to go underground with the sole purpose of tasering some rats. Most of you watching probably don't even remember this happening. We navigate this dark gray area finding roaming rats to tase, seemingly to death as they just disappear. Afterwards, we leave the underground area and return home. At home, we're greeted by a Maverick banner that has Die Logan written in blood. We check our laptop again, seeing that YouTube has some sort of notification. Upon checking YouTube, we see that there's an ongoing live stream being streamed from the inside of our room. This is odd. I wonder who put that there. Checking the security camera also reveals that a car has pulled up to our building. But none of that matters, I guess. We must proceed with our tasks. Now we need to train for our upcoming fight with KSI. Naturally, training involves going to the gym simply to take steroids. A pretty funny detail here is that in the gym, a KSI song is playing over the speakers. After we're done taking steroids, we come back to our room to see that someone has written Jake Paul, seemingly in blood, outside of our building. And when we tune back into that YouTube livestream, there's a man standing behind Logan in his room! Believe it or not, this is completely superfluous and means absolutely nothing. Now it's time for our next task, which is, of course, to film some dead bodies. Clicking this task causes the game to play the intro to the infamous Suicide Forest video, and then we are in the forest, until we approach a hanging body and film it. This is how the game ends, and as the credits scroll, we see Logan Paul hanging in his room. So, that was fucked up. It's kind of hilarious looking back on this in 2025. It feels so strange. As messed up as it is, this is a pretty funny and entertaining commentary and recreation of these events from 2018. Logan Paul is someone we can all take the piss out of, and this is a pretty creative way of taking the piss. I rate this game 7 Toy Story aliens out of 10. We discussed Logan Paul in our first game of the video, so how about now we discuss his partner and former rival, KSI. This game is called Illuminewski, and whereas the Logan Paul simulator was clearly made by a hater of Logan Paul, this game was actually made by a KSI fan. The game starts you off in a room decorated with memes, and immediately you are told you need to take your pills. You take your pills in the kitchen, and then you make your way to your PC setup to check social media. Your brother messaged you on Instagram to tell you he's coming to visit tomorrow, and you message the one and only KSI to tell him that his music and videos have gotten you through a lot of tough times, and that you're his biggest fan. You then go to sleep to prepare to see your brother tomorrow, even though the start of this game was clearly getting out of bed from a slumber, so that's a lot of sleep. Then suddenly, we're in a completely new location. It kinda looks like we're in some kind of doctor's office or a hospital setting. We're only here for a brief moment until we get jump scared and are brought back to our home. You once again go to take your pills, but this time, there aren't any left, so you have to go a day without your pills. What could go wrong? You go to the store and come back expecting to see your brother. You open a door at the top of the stairs, and it appears your brother has been possessed or something. He keeps flashing in and out of existence as the lights beam a harsh red. You need to get out of the house, but as you try to do so, you're brought back to your room, and random hallways spawn out of nowhere. But if you pursue through these hallways, you eventually make it out of the house. When you make it out of the house, you see on your phone that KSI responded to your Instagram DM. And you get quite the ego boost from that. You make your way to your basement from the outdoor entrance to continue your conversation with KSI. You lie in bed, and you just fall asleep. This guy sleeps a lot. During your slumber, you have a quote-unquote nightmare about your brother and KSI, which just looks like them staring at you. Upon waking up, you have no memory of your conversation with KSI. You check it on your laptop, and it turns out KSI invited you to spend some time at his house. This is totally not a weird and inappropriate thing for an influencer to do. Our protagonist is too shy to ask KSI his address, even though he's the one that invited him, so he decides he's just going to go outside and try to find his place. You just roam around outside in the dark until all of a sudden you encounter KSI and the screen fades to black. Then out of nowhere, you're in KSI's bedroom. You leave the room to go find KSI, walking down this extremely long spiral staircase, and then you're in pure darkness. Nothing but a single light to walk towards. Upon reaching that light, you see him in all his glory, KSI at his PC. You walk towards him, but oh no, it turns out he's evil, I think. Suddenly you're in a place full of nothing but hallways and doors, and you need to escape KSI as he laughs maniacally at you. KSI is known for having a loud and chaotic laugh, and I'm fully convinced that's the entire reason this game was made. His actual laugh plays throughout this entire sequence, and I can't lie, it's almost scary. It's a lot of noise. This sequence is completely broken, and I'm sorry, but terrible. If you try to open a door that can't be opened, I think, the game just completely shuts down. You have a mini seizure, and KSI catches up to you and kills you. This sequence is so broken that I just gave up on trying to beat it, so shout out to XPrayZ for doing this so I didn't have to. After escaping KSI, you're back in that suspected hospital setting that we were in earlier. We roam around a bit until suddenly there's writing in blood all over the walls and seemingly a dead body on the floor. Then, to end it all, you're in a small room with nothing but a noose, and the protagonist kills themselves. So, that was a lot of things just kind of happening. The game showcases a newspaper with the headline "Schizophrenic Guy Commits Suicide After Murdering His Own Brother," and explains how our protagonist killed his brother whilst having an obsession with YouTuber KSI. And the game ends showing that KSI never actually invited the protagonist to his house, and it was all in his head. I'm going to keep it a stack. This game is extremely boring. To tell the story of the game, I only highlighted the important moments, but I cannot stress enough how slow-paced this game is. Your stamina in this game is extremely limited, so there's borderline no sprinting in this game. And there's just unnecessary moments like slowly walk to this blocked path to find out that it's blocked, and slowly walking back to grab an axe, and then slowly walking back to the path to break the stuff blocking it. I wouldn't complain about this if the movement wasn't so horrifically frustratingly slow. Also, as I said, this game is kind of just things happening. Like, suddenly we're here, and then suddenly we're here, and then boom, this happens, and oh, this happens. I understand that's kind of the point, and this is meant to feel messy to allude to the protagonist having schizophrenia, but it's just too disorderly to be a good game. With that being said, as bad as this game is, I suppose it does have an interesting message about parasocial relationships. How toxic it can be to be so obsessed with someone that you don't even remotely know personally. It's mildly interesting, and I can give it some credit for that. And the chase featuring KSI's laugh is pretty damn funny. I give Illuminewski 3 KSI foreheads out of 10. Alright, we have time for one more, chatters. We might as well complete the Lunchly trio. Let's get into Mr. Beast horror on Roblox. That's right, Roblox. In Mr. Beast horror, we play as a pizzeria worker working the night shift. No, this game is nothing like FNAF, that's purely a coincidence. On our way to our place of employment, we turn on the radio to hear the news that there's a crazed, rich murderer on the loose, and to be careful and wary of this threat. I'm sure nothing could go wrong. We reach the pizzeria, talk to the person currently working the place, and he makes fun of us because we might get murdered. Very appropriate of them. We start our shift by cleaning up the pizzeria. This is actually just a way for the developers to make you accidentally click on things in the environment that you have to pay for. There's a lot of stuff to pay for in this game. Our first customer arrives and he just gets mad at us because we won't give him a discount. Who goes to any place of business just expecting not to pay full price? After that customer leaves, someone shows up and starts knocking on the glass door. And I'm not sure, but this person is looking kind of beast-like. Oh, and their name is Evil Mr. Beast. So, there's that. Evil Mr. Beast says he wants a free pizza, and we don't give it to him because that would be strange, and that's just not how business works. And he says we're making a huge mistake. We threaten to call the police, and he leaves. Another bitchy customer comes to place an order, and after they leave, a bunch of roaches have infested the place. I don't know where they all came from, but they're here now, and we have to dispose of them. So, we do that. And then our next customer is the one and only Queso. Except Queso's name is Hungry Mr. Beast. Is that all Queso is to you, developer? Just a Hungry Mr. Beast? Anyway, we give him 3 pizzas because, you know, he's Queso. And Queso informs us that our oven is in fact on fire. Uh-oh. We put the fire out, and our next customer is an Asian woman. The game specifically tells us that she is an Asian woman. Not sure why that mattered enough to make it her name, but okay. Our next customer is a guy who says there was some rich man in a red shirt in the middle of the road that he almost crashed into. I love that everyone can tell that this character is a rich guy, yet nobody seems to know who he actually is. Then a police officer stops by because they've received reports of suspicious activity near the establishment. We tell him the story that other customer told us, and he says he'll look into it. Afterwards, we notice we have run out of pizzas, so we need to check the freezer for more. Apparently, this pizza place serves frozen pizza, which is very cringe. Don't go here. But oh no! Evil Mr. Beast is in the freezer, and the worst timed jump scare of all time happens. And he tells us that he wants 20 pizzas for free so he can give them to the homeless. And we're like, no, that's still not how this works, you need to pay for them. And then the protagonist refers to Evil Mr. Beast by name, which I feel like throws a crazy wrench into the lore. Evil Mr. Beast says we will regret this, but he already threatened us before, so now it feels like we're just padding for time. He also falls on the way out, which is pretty funny, big fan of that. A customer comes in to complain that our bathrooms are unclean, so we go out to clean them. We clean each stall until we reach the last one, which has Evil Mr. Beast in it taking a shit. And we, like, straight up shoo him away like he's an animal. And then suddenly, once we're done our main tasks, a car crash happens, and Evil Mr. Beast, who has been renamed to just Mr. Beast, is standing right by the accident. He laughs at us and tells us we will learn a valuable lesson. He says that the only thing promised in life is death. We run back into the pizzeria to call the police. The police ask us for a description of the killer, and we say the laughable line, "He is really big, and he's Evil Mr. Beast himself." So people know who Mr. Beast is. How was it ever difficult to identify and capture this killer? The game then gives us a decision to make. We can either hide in the pizzeria or in the bathrooms. If we hide in the pizzeria, we survive and the cops come. If we hide in the bathrooms, we are kidnapped with no trace of us left behind. And that's the whole goddamn game. I sat through like 35 minutes for that shit. The bad ending doesn't even end with a jump scare or anything, it's still just a wall of text. Once again, being so for real, this game is boring. It's just mindless doing one task and then another and another, and almost nothing happens the entire time. The idea of evil Mr. Beast is something you could do so much with because of all the outlandish stuff the real Mr. Beast does, and the best this game could do is have him crash a car outside of a local pizzeria. At least Queso's in the game. I give Mr. Beast Horror 2 drippy cheese lunchlies out of 10. So, in conclusion, YouTuber horror games are pretty lame, and cringe, and dumb. And this may have not been the best video topic. Thanks for watching!